Hey guys, it's Al from Altruistic Channel, and I just wanted to drop in. I actually couldn't sleep as usual, so I decided that I would do something a little productive, and I was thinking about kind of spirituality as a general uh, thing, right? And so there's different types of spirituality, stemming all the way from like, down home Christian or any type of like a Lutheran, all sorts of different spiritualities that are part of the religious organizations. And then there's the spiritual nature of the New Age. There's esoteric teachings and all of this astrology and all of this stuff that kind of marries the science world with the religious world. And I know that a lot of people get uncomfortable that are more traditionalists with that idea. But I kind of was looking around just the news and kind of got to a point where I just couldn't watch it anymore. And so I started to think about how important it is that everybody who has faith, has that they stay true to that faith and not give up on it. Because I myself, I too struggle with it. It's not an easy task to do. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but I actually began uh, my journey actually was immediately thrown into a dark night soul one night when someone tried to kill me because I'm such a bad boy. I don't know why that happened. But anyway, the moral of the story is that I got thrown right into it and I didn't have a mentor or anybody to talk to. And it wasn't really like well known at the time. It wasn't like all over the internet like it is now. And so that was one of the big propellers, I guess, if you want to say. One of the big things that really drove me to want to get more involved in the spiritual aspect to our ascension, to our awakening process, because I just really didn't know. But in the process, I started to become a lot more thankful of the different people that are along the way. Like, the good old Baptist or down-home Christian families in the South or in the Midwest, you're very much needed. I mean, where would we be without that? Because sometimes we kind of spiral in one direction and then we spiral back on the other. And so that back and forth can be a little bit jarring to society. And so without you, we probably wouldn't be able to be, we wouldn't be so humble and we wouldn't be so honest, and our ethics and morals would be a little bit more askew. Of course, there's some negative sides to all things, but it's amazing how the more you advance in your own spiritual journey, the less it becomes about you and the more it becomes about other people. And so I just remember thinking how that reminded me of you guys. And then I was thinking also about like the people who are a little bit more atheist driven or science based, and I started kind of, I can't help but notice, guys, but it's kind of you substituted one thing for the other, but that's okay. Everybody has their own faith. You have faith in man, and so in that way, I just thought that was great because that also adds to our ability to advance in sciences, and the only time that we actually get into any trouble there is when we try to go beyond the science. I personally don't believe in limits. I don't believe that God would create limits for us, and so I have more of an expansive way of thinking. And I know that both sides of this that I'm talking to right now probably aren't thrilled with that, but it's just who I am. But I guess what the moral of the story is that I just found a lot of reward in looking at the overall picture and kind of standing back and looking at the whole globe as a collective, in the sense that, with everything spinning out of control and it being so obvious that something's going on and that we're going to, that everybody's kind of being thrown into this weird karmic thing, and it's just kind of finding your balance. But I guess the one thing that I wanted to remind everybody is that, especially during the holidays, it can get really, really, really almost taxing in the sense that your spirituality is going to be questioned. You have family dynamics, and depending on what your faith is or what your faith is not, it can be a little bit stressful in that way too. So just remember that whenever you're lost, all you need to do is ask the universe for some help, and it will give it to you. But whatever you do, don't give up, because I myself, like I said, I've struggled with this. But because sometimes you can't, you feel like you can't get it, you just can't do it anymore. And the truth is that just makes you stronger, right? But you don't want to hear that at that time. So it's one of those things that it's better to say it now before you get into that mind frame, than wait till that night and then you're like, I don't want to hear that from you. But just remember that it is a journey. It's not a destination. It's an actual journey. And the thing is that if you get to the top and you want to ascend, or if you want to stay who you are, which is equally as important, whatever you choose to do, there's also another option, which is to always remember to help others that are around you get up the mountain. So whatever your faith is, or whatever your faith is not, whatever it is, just be humble and be loving of each other, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? So I just wanted to kind of throw some love out there to everybody in general. I know there are a lot of people who are kind of getting to the point where they're above that, above certain belief systems, because it can be a little limiting. But at the same time, I always remind people that we still like manners, and we still like honesty and integrity. That's all part of, like, the Baptist and Christian groups. And then we like the more progressive science-based stuff that's more of the people who are atheists. And so everybody has something to add. But at the end of the day, as long as it's love, wisdom, and providing people with hope, that's all I guess we can all ask for each other. And especially these days, during the holidays, just remember we're in chaos, and because we need to get through chaos to get to order. And so just remember that it's a process that is divinely guided, I guess, because that's just the way things are in order to make things right. So maybe it's time that we just all band together and start loving each other and start doing our own work instead of looking at other people's. But anyway, I just wanted to send a big old shout out and big love to everybody. Happy holidays. And don't forget that if you need help, just ask the universe. The universe will come and help you in some way, shape, or form. All you got to do is ask. And then for those of you who celebrate the holidays, happy holidays directly. But God love you. And for those of you who don't celebrate that way, enjoy the time off. And I will see you guys later.